Hey everyone, and welcome back to the English Prep Podcast.
It's great to be back.
Today, we're diving into something that's so crucial for anyone looking to really level up their spoken English, especially if you're thinking about taking any of those big proficiency exams.
Absolutely.
We're talking about how to structure your spoken responses effectively.
You know, it might seem pretty basic at first,
Yeah.
but trust me, the way you organize your thoughts when you're speaking can make a huge difference.
It's true.
It's not just about the vocabulary, or even your grammar.
Right.
It's about presenting your ideas in a way that's clear and easy for others to follow.
It's like you can have all the right ingredients, but if you don't know how to put them together in a recipe,
Exactly.
the dish is going to be a mess.
100%.
So even if you don't know every single word perfectly or you make a little grammar mistake here and there,
Sure.
if you have a solid structure, you're showing that you know how to communicate your ideas in a logical way.
Absolutely. And that can really boost your confidence, too.
Yeah, for sure.
And honestly, it can make a big difference to how well your English is received by others.
Exactly.
Especially in those exam situations.
So today we're going to break it all down.
We are.
We're going to look at the essential components of a really strong spoken response and give you some practical tips you can start using right away.
Sounds good to me.
So let's get started with the absolute basics.
We'll do it.
What are the core parts of a well-structured answer?
Well, basically, a strong spoken answer usually has three main parts.
Okay.
The introduction,
Okay.
the
Yeah.
body,
Hmm.
and the conclusion.
It's a simple framework,
Yeah, it is.
but it's super effective for making sure you stay on topic and that your listener can easily follow your main points.
It's like building a house.
Yeah.
You need that strong foundation, which is your introduction.
Right.
Then you build the main structure, the walls, the rooms.
Yeah.
That's the body of your answer.
Okay, I like that.
And then you need a roof to tie it all together.
Yeah, to finish it off.
That's the conclusion.
I like that analogy a lot.
So each part plays a really important role in making sure your answer is clear and well organized.
Makes sense. So let's start with that introduction.
Go.
What's the most important thing to keep in mind when you're crafting that opening part of your response?
Well, the key thing is to answer the question directly.
Right.
Don't beat around the bush.
Yeah.
Just get straight to the point and show that you understand what's being asked.
So we're not trying to be too clever or anything.
No, not at all.
We're just showing that we're on the same page.
Exactly. And a good way to do that is to actually rephrase the question in your own words.
Okay, so let's say the question is something like, do you think technology has made our lives easier?
Right. So you could start your answer with something like, I definitely think technology has made many aspects of our lives much easier.
Okay.
And then you can go on to explain why you think that.
Okay, perfect. So we've got our introduction. We're answering the question directly.
Yeah.
Now we move into the body of our response.
Right. This is where we really get to develop our ideas.
So how many main points should we aim for in the body?
Well, generally speaking,
Mm.
2 or 3 main points is a good number to aim for.
Okay.
This gives you enough space to really explain each idea,
Yeah.
but it doesn't overwhelm the listener.
Right. It's about quality over quantity.
Exactly. And each point should be supported with evidence or examples.
Right. So if we're talking about how technology has made our lives easier,
Right.
we can't just say it.
No.
We need to give some examples.
Exactly.
So we could talk about things like online shopping
Yeah.
or how easy it is to stay connected with people who live far away.
Right. Using things like video calls,
Exactly.
social media, and all of that.
So we're backing up our claims with real-world examples.
Exact. That's what makes your answer convincing.
Okay. Now, as we're moving between these different points in the body,
Uh-huh.
how can we make sure that everything flows smoothly?
Well, this is where transition words and phrases come in handy.
Okay, I was hoping you were going to say that.
They help to connect your ideas and show the relationship between them.
So what are some examples of these magical transition words?
So you've got words like firstly,
Okay.
secondly,
Yeah.
furthermore,
Yeah.
in addition,
Right.
on the other hand.
Okay.
However.
Right. So we're signaling to the listener that we're moving on to a new point.
Exactly. Or that we're presenting a contrasting idea.
And it just helps to keep everything organized.
Yeah, it's like having signposts on a road trip.
I like that.
You always know where you're going.
Okay, so we've got our introduction.
Right.
We've got our body with clear points and examples.
Yep.
Now, what about that conclusion? How do we wrap everything up effectively?
Well, the conclusion is your chance to summarize your main points
Okay.
and leave the listener with a final thought.
So it's kind of like a reminder of what we've talked about.
Exactly.
But we're also adding in something extra.
Yeah, could be a final insight or maybe a recommendation.
Okay, so for our technology example, we could say something like, in conclusion, technology has definitely brought about many positive changes, but it's important to use it wisely and not let it take over our lives.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've covered the three main parts of a well-structured response.
We have.
But what about before we even start speaking?
Yes, preparation.
Preparation is key.
Absolutely.
So what can we do to prepare effectively?
Well, one really useful tip is to think about common topics that might come up
Okay.
and make a little list of ideas or bullet points for each one.
So almost like a little cheat sheet.
Yeah, kind of. But it's more about getting your thoughts organized in advance.
Right. So that when you get the question,
You're not starting from scratch.
you've already got some ideas in your head.
Exactly. And it's also a good idea to practice speaking within a time limit.
Right, because in a lot of those proficiency exams, you
Yeah.
only have a certain amount of time to answer each question.
Right. So you need to be able to think quickly and organize your thoughts efficiently.
Okay. Any other preparation tips?
Well, something that can be really helpful is recording yourself speaking.
Oh, yeah. I know a lot of people don't like to hear their own voice.
I know, but it's a really valuable tool
It is.
because it lets you hear yourself the way others hear you.
Exactly.
And you might be surprised by what you notice.
Yeah, you might realize that you speak too fast or that you use certain filler words a lot.
Right. Or that you have some nervous habits like,
I do.
we all do it.
Yeah.
But once you're aware of those things, you can start working on improving them.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so we've talked about content and structure,
We have.
but how does all of this affect our actual delivery when we're speaking?
Well, when your thoughts are well organized,
Yeah?
it usually comes across in your delivery.
You sound more confident.
Exactly.
You don't hesitate as much.
Yeah, you're less likely to get flustered or lose your train of thought.
And that can make a big difference to how you come across.
It really can.
It can make you sound more fluent and more natural.
Absolutely. And it also affects things like pacing
Okay.
and pausing.
Mm-hmm.
When you know what you want to say,
Yeah.
you're more likely to speak at a natural pace
Right.
and to pause in the right places.
Not too fast.
No, not too fast.
Not too slow.
Just right. And don't forget about intonation.
Oh, intonation. That's a good one.
It's really important.
Yeah.
It's the way your voice rises and falls.
Right, and it can convey so much meaning.
Exactly. It can show whether you're asking a question or making a statement.
Mm.
It can express emotion.
Right.
It can emphasize certain words or phrases.
And when you have a good structure,
Yeah,
it's easier to use intonation effectively
absolutely.
because you know which parts of your answer are the most important.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We'll have.
We've talked about the importance of structure. We've looked at the different parts of a well-structured response.
Yes.
We've discussed preparation and delivery.
We have.
Any final words of wisdom before we wrap things up?
Just remember that improving your spoken English takes time and practice.
It does.
Don't be afraid to make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you learn.
Exactly, and keep these tips in mind,
Yes.
and you'll definitely see progress.
I have no doubt.
So that's all for today's deep dive on structuring your spoken responses.
It's been a good one.
Thanks for joining us, everyone.
And keep practicing your English.
See you next time.
Bye for now.